In this episode, I go over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, May 25th, 2022. What's going on, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I go over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, May 25th, 2022. So if you are here for that, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And as I always say, it is another great week for comic books. I have a lot to kind of go through. I have my honorable mentions, I have my top 5 picks, and then of course I have my cover buy of the week that I'll get to at the end. So yeah, let's dive into it and start off first with the honorable mentions. Like I said, I have a good amount of them I want to rattle through here. So the first one I want to mention is Philadelphia, issue number 22, coming out here. This is technically part 4 of the ongoing series of the story arc within the ongoing series. Yeah, I have not caught up to this to this part yet. I'm waiting until this story arc now finishes. But I wanted to mention that because it's been a fantastic series overall. Reading up to 18 right now, and yeah, just really enjoying it. Definitely recommend the series if you have not read it already. Let's see. The next one I want to mention is the Department of Truth, issue number 18. That actually is just kicking off a new story arc, so I actually have to catch up now because I've been waiting for the last one to wrap up. I actually thought there were another issue or two, but looking at kind of the description here, this starts off a new story arc. So the last I had read up to was issue 13, and it's a really, really great series. I think it's one that technically reads a little bit better in trade format, so that's why I kind of held off on this next story arc. But yeah, so since this one's kicking off, I wanted to just mention that, and for anybody who was waiting like I was, now's maybe the time to jump back and check out that latest story arc for Department of Truth, issue number 18. Let's see, going into the next one, I wanted to mention The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 2. Issue 1 was okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't amazing, but it was enough to where I'm very curious to kind of see where it goes from here. Zeb Wells doing the writing for it, so want to continue to give that a shot. And this is kind of my first time really giving the Amazing Spider-Man main series a shot. So I know for the past, I feel like 2 or 3 years, it's kind of been very hit or miss with some of the direction that it's gone in. So now that they've kind of rebooted it now with a new writer and everything, I want to jump in here. So I'm going to give issue number 2 a shot there. The other one I wanted to mention was New Bern, which I think I'm actually like 2 issues behind. I kind of forgot about this series. Chip Zdarsky, I remember reading the first like 3 or 4 issues and really, really enjoying it. And I don't know how I just kind of let it slip through there. But yeah, definitely want to get back on board with this. Beautiful cover, by the way. And yeah, Jacob Phillips here. Listed for the cover and the main art, so definitely want to get back on board with this at some point. So if you haven't read any New Bern, I definitely recommend that as well. It's very good. So I just wanted to mention that one. The next one I wanted to mention here is Legion of X, issue number 1. I guess you could call it LOX, technically. LOX. I'm really excited to, just kind of see where the story continues here. I see it says peace, love, and justice to Krakoa. So it's clearly still continuing to pick up where, everything has kind of left off since, Inferno and the Hickman stuff and everything else. So, anytime a new X title's coming out, I am definitely jumping on board. So also Simon Spurrier doing the writing for this. So definitely had my attention. So that is something I wanted to mention as well. And then the last book I'm going to add to my honorable mentions list is Harley Quinn, issue number 15. Guys, this series has really been just a really fun series overall, and I do recommend if you've never read Harley Quinn before or maybe you've been wanting to get into it, now's the time. I think that the series that has been kicked off and running now for the past few months, or I guess a year or over, has really been great. And it's Stephanie Phillips. I've talked about her plenty of times. And then also Riley Rossimo back on the artwork here. I know they've kind of been back and forth with a few other artists as of recently, but good to see Riley doing this art here. I know the last issue, Harley Quinn was in jail, so we're going to see kind of where that goes from here. But yeah, definitely want to continue with that as well. And that's why I had to put it on my honorable mentions list. Okay, so that's the honorable mentions. Just wanted to run through that real quick. Before I go any further, I did want to shout out the Premiere Chat. So if you're in the Premiere Chat right now, these videos every Thursday, 12:30 Eastern time, they premiere. So everybody in the Premiere Chat right now, thanks so much for hanging out with me here on my lunch break. Hope you're enjoying your day. But let's get right into my top 5 now. And the first one that I want to kick off is, yes, it's a new Batman title. I know, Batman Fortress, issue number 1. It's an 8-issue miniseries. I know you're probably thinking enough with the Batman titles, but I'm all about it. I'm all for it. I'm really enjoying a lot of the new stuff that's coming out, a lot of the different Batman series. Maybe it's because I'm newer to reading Batman titles. You know, I don't have that experience of reading, you know, a lot of the older stuff. So maybe that's part of the reason I'm not sick of it yet. So I'm all about it. So bring on more Batman. I see Gary Whitta is doing the writing and Derek Robertson doing the artwork. Robertson was from The Boys, I believe. But yeah, it talks about, it says these two join forces to turn everything you think you know about Superman upside down in DC's new comic book miniseries, Batman Fortress, launching this May. So yeah, it definitely has a focus on Batman, but has a kind of a storytelling of Superman as he is missing currently, or no one knows where he is, I guess, is the kind of the setup. Meanwhile, Earth is being attacked by some unknown alien ship of some sort, and Batman has to handle this. So that's kind of the gist, I from my understanding. But either way, like I said, I am down to at least give issue number 1 a shot. I will definitely report back to you and let you know how it is after I read that. So that's gonna be my number 5 pick of the week, Batman Fortress, issue number 1. Going into number 4, I wanted to throw this on the list, Bloodstained Teeth, issue number 2. This is a Christian Ward book, and I don't mean the artwork. I'm talking about the writing. Is Christian Ward. I know normally I've just been obsessed with his artwork every single time, and rightfully so. He's very talented in that regard. But here he's doing the writing for it, and that was one of the things that really caught my attention to say, oh wow, like I don't think I've read anything of his before in terms of the writing side of things. I'm not sure if he's written anything else before. I just know him as an artist. So really cool to see him you know, going into this here. And I wanted to throw this on because I really enjoyed issue number 1. And in fact, the artwork, I should mention too, since it's not a Christian Ward, is Patrick Reynolds, who I'm not familiar with either, but I will say Reynolds' work in the first issue was absolutely gorgeous, like just stunning stuff. This is, yes, it's a vampire. You can tell by the series, the title. It is a vampire focused story, kind of its own world that Christian Ward has created here. But it definitely has a little bit of spin to it as well. So I'm you know, down to continue to give this a shot. I mean, it also kind of helps. I've been, like I said, mentioned earlier, I've been reading like Philadelphia, and just some other DC versus vampires, things like that. And I've been kind of on this vampire kick. So maybe that kind of helps, you know, me push this a little bit. But, you know, I really enjoyed the first one enough to, you know, want to check out where it kind of goes from here. And like I said, the artwork in this, I mean, honestly, the artwork alone is 100% worth checking this series out. At least go back, read issue 1, try it for yourself. But I do recommend this series. And again, if I didn't mention this, it is an Image Comics series. So that's going to be my number 4 pick of the week, Bloodstained Teeth, issue number 2 by Christian Ward. Let's see, going into my number 3 pick of the week, it is going to be Deathstroke Inc., issue number 9. And this is really my first time getting into anything Deathstroke related, really, other than, you know, maybe something he's been tied into in the past. I know he's been used obviously in the James Tynion Batman stuff and the Tom King Batman stuff, things like that. But I really don't know much about the character. But over the course of the past couple of months, reading series like this, I've been really enjoying it. And my dog too, he's really excited. You can hear him barking. So this is just another part of the Shadow War event that has been going on. I think they list this as part 6 here. So you know, we're gonna continue to go from there because I really enjoy kind of where that story arc's going. I know we're jumping around a little bit, but if you've been able to follow along, I hope you're enjoying it as much as I have, because between the story and the artwork, I am just, yeah, I'm on board. Excited to see where Williamson continues to go with this as he's kind of rounding out his big event before they get the new writer on Batman. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, and like I said, put that on my top 5 picks here. So that's going to come in at number 3, Deathstroke Inc., issue number 9. Let's see, two left here, and I'm moving through this quickly. I appreciate everybody who's hanging, or if you're watching this on the replay, appreciate you as well. But number two, I gotta go with, and usually these last two, by the way, are usually my 1A and 1B. I feel like lately these last two that I'm about to mention have been landing on the same release day or release week, and so yeah, this could easily be a number one pick for me. But I'm going to go with Robin, issue number 14. Guys, if you have not been reading Robin, I strongly recommend checking it out because it has just been so fantastic. It has made me really fall in love with the character Damian Wayne. I love his kind of go get him attitude, and at the same time he's a kid and he makes mistakes but yet he still has this ego at the same time. I don't know. It's really interesting kind of mix within the character. And he's the best. He's the best at what he does. At least, that's in his head of that. And seeing kind of the back and forth between him and Hawk and some of the other characters, all these younger characters, of his age that have all gone to this tournament that, the whole series was initially based off of, the League of Lazarus tournament that went on in the first, story arc. It's just really cool to kind of see his character continue to develop and be around his peers and the way he kind of acts and to kind of see his strengths and his weaknesses, even if he doesn't want to admit that, certain things are his weaknesses. He's well-rounded in that sense. And it's just interesting to see the character grow the way he has been. And especially being the son of Batman, that's got to put a lot on your shoulders right there by itself. So, I strongly recommend Robin if you're not reading the series. But like I said, so this is another part of the Shadow War that I was just mentioning from Deathstroke. So this is actually the part 7. So if you guys were going to read this and you wanted to continue reading the Shadow War storylines, technically you want to read Deathstroke Inc. issue number 9 first, and then jump into Shadow War Robin 14, as that is the part 7 of Shadow War. Definitely on board for that. Oh, by the way, Roger Cruz. I didn't know anything about Roger Cruz before this series. I don't know what else he's done before this. I haven't really looked it up, but I should, because every time I open a book with this guy's artwork in it, I'm just like, yes, I need more of this. So I'm really enjoying it for them from that aspect as well. So can't recommend it enough. That's going to be my number 2 pick of the week, Robin issue number 14. And that's also, by the way, a Joshua Williamson book. I don't know if I mentioned that, but he's just obviously part of this whole Shadow War event that he's putting together. Okay, before I get into my number 1 pick of the week, take a moment, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I have this Saturday a new Comic Collector Origins. Really excited to be interviewing my good friend Inja Binja. I'll put the banner up here. Been talking with Inja for a while now. She's a great community member, does a ton with a lot of different YouTube channels and Instagram and everything else. So I'm really excited to talk with her this Saturday. That's going to be 2:00 Eastern. And then other than that, I think that's all I got. Obviously Omni X-Men and all that other fun stuff coming up as well. So, appreciate everybody who's been watching this. Don't go away after I talk about my issue number 1 or my pick number 1, because I do want to mention do my cover buy of the week as well. But let's get into my number 1 pick, and my number 1 pick goes to The Swamp Thing issue number 13 by Mr. Ram V himself, Mike Perkins on the artwork, and man, oh man, I just can't get enough of this series. Every single issue to me is just a grand slam. I love the dark vibes. I think that Ram V does a fantastic job keeping it within the not expectations, but like the reasons of why I really fell in love with Swamp Thing when I was reading the Alan Moore stuff. Just the dark vibes that I get from that, plus Mike Perkins, the panels and the layouts that he does and kind of recreates is very similar to the Alan Moore stuff from back in the day. So I am all on board with this. And this is a series where you don't need to know anything about this particular character. You can go right into this series, obviously starting with issue number 1. But anything, starting with what Ram V started, technically they're calling this season 2 because this series was supposed to only be 10 issues altogether. And they extended it an extra 6, I think. So I think it's going to go to issue 16 overall. But Yeah, I'm glad they did because I mean, if anything, I kind of wish it just to be an ongoing, just in general. I don't know what I'm sure Ram V has a ton of other projects going on, but I would love to just see him just take this and run with it for a long period of time, right? That'd be really, really great. But either way, I'll take what I can get. And so yeah, I do recommend this if you have not been reading, and that's why it's my number one pick because it's just been that damn good, and it obviously fits that horror vibe. So if you like that genre, all the more reason to jump into this. I think Ram V also just does a really good job of putting some emotion into the characters that we're learning more about. And keep in mind too, this is a different Swamp Thing, so this is not Alex Holland or any of the other Swamp Thing characters. This is a new introduction character as of issue 1. So again, for anybody who might be concerned, that maybe Swamp Thing, you have to know a lot before you get into the series. You don't. You do not need to know anything. It's very, very reader friendly, and I think that's why I gravitated towards it so much because I didn't know much about Swamp Thing either. Other than, I mean, I did read the Alan Moore stuff, but yeah, you definitely could just jump into this regardless. So, anyways, that is going to be my number one pick of the week: Swamp Thing issue number 13 by Ram V. And by the way, I'm going to throw this up too. This was almost a cover by the week. It's not. It was almost, but it's a really, really gorgeous cover by RK, or Anand RK, which he also was doing some other work with Ram V recently as well for Radio Apocalypse. So that was something that stood out to me. Really beautiful. It's very close to being my cover by the week, but it is not. But speaking of that, I am going to head over to my cover by the week now. So let's get into that now. And I'm going to go with this book right here, DC vs. Vampires Hunters, issue number 1. Technically, this should have probably been on my top 5. I was going to just include it in my honorable mentions, but because it's my cover by of the week, I figure I'll just talk about it here now. Guys, DC vs. Vampires, the main series by Tom Taylor, is one of my favorite series right now in comics, just in comics. And so when I saw that this was coming out, I was definitely excited for it. One thing, as a little bit of a change up, it's not by Tom Taylor, it's by Matthew Rosenberg. I do like some of the writing that he's done in the past, just in general. So I definitely want to, continue to give it a shot for that. And then on top of that, it's my boy Damian Wayne, right? I was just talking about all the Robin stuff prior to this. So yeah, definitely excited to read this. It is a one shot. But on top of all that, let's just talk about the cover, right? This is my cover by of the week. And I think it's pretty obvious that how beautiful this thing is, especially being because it is John Boy Myers, who's he's been on fire. I think he's been a cover by of the week for me over at least a couple of times recently. I feel like I've been talking about him. So obviously he's a busy guy. He's put a lot of stuff out there. And so I know he's doing a lot of different variants, things like that. But this is awesome. I think it's such a badass cover. Also, I think I think they're doing only a cover A and cover B for that, which is probably good, right, overall. But I love when the cover A's are home runs the way this one is. And yeah, especially I'm a sucker for black and red. That's another thing too. And yeah, it's my boy, man. It's Damian Wayne. I'm really excited for it. So let's see where it goes. I'm obviously going to tie into kind of what Tom Taylor has been doing with the DC vs. Vampire stuff. It does say, so it's a blood-soaked one-shot tale of vampire violence. The son of Batman, after years of training to be an assassin, is on a path toward utter destruction of the vampire race. Enter Damian Wayne, Vampire Hunter. So yeah, super badass there. I'm all about it. I am on board. So yeah, that's going to be my cover by of the week. And, I'd love to know do you have a cover by of the week that you're interested in? Let me know what you're buying. Every once in a while we just see these covers and we're like, damn, I just have to have it. And for me, that's one of them. Luckily, I also want to read the thing, so that works out really well. Other than all that, that's all I have for this week. Again, this is all books coming out next week, May 25th, 2022 for New Comic Book Day. So if you like what you saw here, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. Smash that like button on the way out. And until next time, I will talk to you later.